And the reason this is because he's kind of an anti-air hero. Well, kind of. I mean, he has Quill Beasts, which in his own way makes him an anti-air hero. Smart TP. Basically, he's protecting his economy and by using a TP. Unfortunately, his DK gets in a little bit of trouble, but it's okay. He'll make it out alive. This was sort of lucky, especially that he didn't get a higher crit in there. That would have been bad news, but he snags the hero kill, which is good. So yeah, basically you want to fight as much as possible in your base, but you kind of want to avoid fights for as long as possible, and for this reason, basically when you have high level heroes, you're going to be able to rape an army basically without an army. So your DK and your Lich should be able to nuke the crap out of pretty much anything and run. And that's basically what you want to aim for, at least late game. Especially when it comes to Wind Riders and Raiders, you want to be able to take those out pretty easily. Now, I don't agree with this decision, which is taking all his ghouls and going to attack his burrows. At least get like a sapper, or not a sapper, what are those called? A shredder. And head out, just because he's already low on lumber. Plus, frost rooms cost 120 wood, so I would have just played it on the safe side. He is playing it semi on the safe side by picking up a TP. And basically, you'll notice that the Undead avoided a battle just by focusing the hero, which is pretty smart. And really, the Orc probably could have won that battle if the Undead decided to focus units instead. And for the reason that his Blade Master will do enough damage to be able to take out Fiends. And with decent Hex Micro, it's fairly easy to be able to Hex the DK and get a couple Fiend kills fairly easily. So you'll notice he's in lumber trouble, as predicted, which is kind of logically predicted as opposed to I've seen this replay a couple times, but whatevs. So yeah, you'll notice he did a nice job of patiently taking out the Expo. He didn't force battles. He waited until, the Orc was right in his base. And the reason that this is good for you is because you have the Black Citadel, which basically rapes one unit at a time. So, that's good. Alright, so continuing the creep fast, you'll notice he always has a TP on him, and he's not going into low upkeep, which is pretty smart. Now, what the Orc is doing is pretty stupid, which is basically sort of a hit and run, but he's also going to lose a Wind Rider, which is kind of a bummer. It's worth the TP to get a Wind Rider. Not only is it EXP for you, but it's also 245 gold for them, 350 for you. And yeah, at this point the Orc had a big enough army to be in low upkeep. That's what I thought. I was just double checking. So basically, the money was on his side, just because the Orc was in low upkeep and the Undead wasn't. So yeah, that's one thing to keep in mind, is if you see they have a bigger army than you, and you take out their Expo, try to avoid a battle as long as possible, just because they'll be losing a lot more gold than you will. And then going into low upkeep later ends up being more beneficial for you. Now, notice how quickly that Raider dies. It's basically what you want to go for. And look at how he's avoiding that Frost Room to be killed. So, good, safe TP. You'll also notice that Frost Armor is being used a lot more often. I'm just going to mention that because I did an audio a while ago when Frost Armor was actually innovative, and now it's being used everywhere. Thought I'd point that out. Anywho, the reason Frost Armor is especially good with Frost Worms is because if he starts getting Bat Riders to compensate for his lack of anti-air, he's going to get screwed out of his mind, just because the Frost Worm will have 4 armor as opposed to just 1. Especially if you upgraded it. It would be so much better, but whatevs. The only thing that you lose is you lose a mana source, which is basically Dark Ritual. And you'll notice that the Orc is running at this point, just because he's already screwed. And basically, as the Undead, you just want to build up to this. What you want to do is you want to stall as long as possible, obviously, to get 3/3 heroes. If you're getting a third hero, you're going to have to stall a little longer, but the third hero allows you to anti-expo him a little easier. And basically what the Beastmaster allows you to do is counter their air units a little more. It allows you to compensate for the lack of fiends. It allows you to compensate for fiend losses. And it also allows you a little more mobility on the map, just because you can actually use the Quill Beast to run around and be an asshole. Yeah, that's how I'm going to sum it up. So, you'll notice he goes Hawk second, or as Hawk level 2, as his third hero ability. I thought it was odd, but it works for his burrows, and I guess it works well with the Frost Worm. Anywho, yeah, there wasn't much spectacular play in this game, but the one point to get across was that, oh, really nice TP, by the way, 12 HP. The real point I wanted to get across is that the Undead versus Orc is pretty simple. What you do is you avoid the battle until you can win it. That's as simple as I can break it down for you. And a little more aggressive isn't a bad. In fact, it's a good thing, especially because you could have canceled a couple Beast Cherries and wasted the same TP. I don't know. That's just how I look at it. But what could the Orc have done? Really, the Orc could have... I'm trying to think. The Orc could have tried to force some battles outside of his base, which is what you use the Blade Master for. And which is why you always use keep a TP on you as the Undead, and possibly a Shade on you, just so you know, like, when the Blade Master is coming at you. And basically, what you do is you just kind of stall forever until you can win. So, I don't know how to break it down more simple than that. I'm trying to think of what else you can do. Basically, you want to counter their army composition. If you're going Destroyers, it's a little different. You might want to do a 9-minute Destro push. I don't ever use Destros, so I'm not the expert on that one. But yeah, I use Frostworms a lot, and basically you want to stall until you have one Frostworm, which is basically instant GG unless they've had an expo for a while, and then you're screwed. So yeah, I don't really know what else to add to that. It's a pretty simple strategy. The Fiends to Frostworms. It's been used a lot. Yeah, there are more Undead versus Orc replays out there. This was just the best I could find. You just don't see them in high-level leagues because, you know, Orc just destroys Undead and people actually, like, manage around it. And the only time you see Orc playing an Undead is if the Undead is absolutely terrible. And they're just trying to, I guess, rape their best player. Like, teams like MYM will have an instant 2-0 with Moon or something, or Grubby, and basically you could feed them an Undead if he's not very good, just to, you know, get him his win but not waste any of your good players on them. So that's basically how management works, and it's kind of sucked for Undead versus Orc replays, so this is the best I could come up with on shortest notice. So, yeah. I do have my games, but they're a little more zany, and, yeah, they don't actually make sense when you watch them. But, they're pretty fun to play, I don't know. So, yeah, I've actually started laddering again on WCR, right bracket orange. You can hit me up on Battle.net. If I'm in a game, I probably won't answer. If I'm in the channel, I'm probably AFK or searching, so, yeah, there's that. I'm trying to think of what else to add for the Undead versus Orc. If you're going 2 heroes, you're probably going to end up pushing a little earlier, because obviously you're going to have the Frostworm at the same time, but you're going to have your 3/3 heroes a little earlier, which basically means an instant raider kill, which is really what you're going for. You're going for the quick kills every, like, couple minutes, especially with the Frostworm, and all you really do from there is keep your Frostworm alive and you win. Sort of. It doesn't exactly work like that, but yeah, I can't think of anything else to add. My next audio should be a 2v2 audio, and it should be another big one, I hope. I haven't been able to find many 2v2 replays, but whatevs. So, yeah, peace out.